Hey guys, here in central Oklahoma on beautiful Lake Konawa. Can't wait to get out here on the water. It's been over a year since I've been here, so I really don't know what to expect. The one thing I can guarantee you for this show is that we're going to fish shallow. I don't know if it's going to be topwater baits or if it's going to be some type of swim jig or something along those lines. That's the part I don't know. I've got about 10 rods on the deck, but it's going to be shallow fishing. This place is loaded with aquatic vegetation, lots of cover, lots of targets to throw at, up shallow, places for them to live, even though the heat of summer is coming on. So we are going to get after it, shallow water fishing today. Let's Fish TV starts right now.
That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southeast region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
All right guys, here on beautiful Lake Konawa in central Oklahoma. This lake was impounded around 1970. It's only about 1,300 square surface acres. This lake was actually impounded for one purpose. You're going to notice a lot of the electrical lines that are around here. This thing was built as the cooling system for a generating plant for electricity that sits right on the side of the lake. So they actually generate power. This thing is a gas-powered generator. It's not a coal-burning generator. No current driven. It's not like a TVA system. This thing is only 1,300 acres, impounded around 1970 just for this purpose. OG&E, Oklahoma General Electric, owns this, runs it, and has the ramps and things open to the public. It is a phenomenal fishery. It's got tons of aquatic vegetation. It's got a lot of fish in it, and it's got some big fish in it. Before we get things started, I'm going to get my boat, get my stuff packed up, put it into the boat ramp here. I'm going to get launched and set up, and while I do, let's get started. Back in the studio with your weekend planner.
Hey everybody, these Salooner tables are predicting good game fish activity both days this weekend. Look for those prime daytime hours to begin around 8:52 on Saturday and 9:33 Sunday morning, with evening action kicking off at 9:17 Saturday and 9:58 on Sunday. Depending on your local area, expect the sun to rise around 6:20 and set around 8:39. Nights will have a moon with 12% visibility. Stay right here to check out fishing reports from throughout the area. Plus, I will return with 2014 Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Greg Hackney, on this week's Ask the Pro feature.
All right guys, I'm going to talk to you about a technique that's really effective here in Lake Konawa, and I know it is before we even start the day. Lots of big fish and lots of numbers of fish are caught on this right here. That's a frog. Lots of people love this bait. It's a lot of people's favorite baits, but I see a lot of mistakes made throwing this bait. What makes a frog great? Well, number one, you can throw it into any type of cover there is out there. No matter how thick a vegetation, whether it be reeds, cattails, pads, stems, matted grass, wood, trees, laydowns, bushes, the list is endless. 65-pound test, 65-pound test braid. I know that sounds like a lot, but whenever you get hooked up with a big fish, potentially say in a laydown tree, you're gonna need that 65-pound test to be able to hold that fish either in that tree or to be able to pull him out. You hook one up on 65-pound test line and she's hooked good, you're not gonna lose that bass. On a pause, it is amazing how many times something just different in your retrieve can make a fish react. I've been twitching all morning. That's a good one too, and I mean choked it. Golly, choked it. Come here, her throat. Look how deep she's got that frog. Isn't that incredible? Amazing. I had actually just turned my head. It's sometimes that's all it is. It's just a little difference in your retrieve. Makes all the difference in the world. Nice 2.5 pounder to start the morning off with, number one. And topwater fish, can't beat that on a frog right on top of the grass. One of the other big things that I think that I see a lot is the rod action. And I made this mistake early on in my career. You want a rod that's got a softer tip so that it allows you to make those little skipping presentations. But that tip better stop pretty quick. You don't want the tip of that rod. You want to get into the backbone of the rod. And what I mean by that is a stiff. You want it to get there quick. I don't like to just throw a 2x4. That's why I like a little tip on it. But as soon as that tip breaks over, I want it to get into the backbone of that rod so that I can load and put some weight on that fish. It's imperative that you get a good hook set with a frog, because a hollow body frog, when the fish bites down, you're trying to expose those hooks into that fish's skin. And sometimes it takes a lot of pressure to actually drive these hooks into a fish's roof of its mouth. Another little tip that I do is a lot of times I'll take a pair of pliers. When I pull a frog right out of the package, just run your finger right across the top of this frog, and you'll notice that your skin doesn't get stuck on that hook. If you'll take a pair of pliers and bend, and I mean just a little bit, bend it out just a little bit so that whenever you rub your fingers down the edge of this frog, that you do feel the stick of that hook. And that right there can help you get a lot more hookups and miss fewer fish throughout your day of fishing.
Hey y'all, welcome to my favorite part of the show, the Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia Coastal Fishing Report. This segment's brought to you by me, Captain Patrick Garmison with Ugly Fishing. Target fish of just about any type down here around Mobile Bay and the nearshore waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Hit my website up at uglyfishing.com, or you can give me a call or shoot me a text at 251-747-1554. The Alabama coast and Mississippi coast, we're feeling the heat right now. The water's getting hotter. The air temperature is scorching hot, so y'all be sure to hydrate and have fun out there on the water. But when you are out there, the speckled trout bite around the birds in shallow water where the shrimp are plentiful has been on fire. You can just catch fish till you're tired of catching fish when you find those birds working. The red snapper bite is in. That's been happening pretty good. You can go out, just pick your time to go out when the water's calm enough for you to go out there and enjoy yourself. Live bait, artificial bait, there's a lot of options out there. Take a good bit of bait with you, of both dead and live. That way you've got some options if those fish get a little finicky. On the Georgia coast, Tim Cole said that the redfish are cruising the flats early in the morning, crushing top waters. He said the jacks and the tarpon are pushing into the near the creek mouths, river mouths and stuff. He said they're getting nice and plentiful. And the speckled trout, he said every time we get a big full moon or new moon coming around, these fish are on the chew, and they're big and they're feeding heavy. So if you're in the Georgia coast, you got all those options. We've got a lot of options here in Alabama, Mississippi. But this is the time to get after it early in the morning, preferably, because when it gets hot, it is just about unbearable. So y'all be careful out there, stay hydrated, and thanks for tuning in. Remember, my guys from the Speckled Truth say to keep what you need and leave the rest. God bless, guys.
Got her 5 times, and I saw that big old fish. And I mean, it's a big one. They're running from my frog. And these are giant fish. They're up in 6 inches of water. And they're scared to death of my bait. Throw it in there with 10-pound test line. And just a little stick worm. This is insane. We went down a stretch just a minute ago and I saw 3 or 4 fish all over 4 pounds, this one being one of them. And not biting, can't get them to bite. So I put on a little bitty worm. I mean a little bitty worm. And I mean that fish is over 5. Little bitty hook. Is that not incredible? Not exactly how I planned on coming out here fishing today. Like I told y'all when we started the show, I haven't been out here in over a year, and there's a bunch of them shallow. I finally just turned the trolling motor on and went down the bank, just like you would sight fishing, you know, in the springtime when you're looking for them on beds, and started seeing fish just like this swimming away on a bank that I had just fished down with a frog and gone slow and can't get them to react. And I mean, this is what we came for right here. That's some meat right there. That one will tote the mail for sure. Just starting to slowly figure it out. Like I told you, all I knew is we were going to fish shallow, do a little flipping. Sure didn't expect to pull a spinning rod out, but hey, it was on the deck. When you see fish this finicky, we'll give it a try. It's a big old fish.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors, making it easier than ever to gear up and have fun out there. Visit Mississippi, Wanderers welcome. Power Pole, total boat control. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy duty mounts for your fish finders.
Guys, I don't know if I've caught one in Oklahoma in the middle of June on a bed before. Wow, it is the middle of June and that sucker is spawning. I can't believe it. Golly. Can't get the catch. I'm going to catch him. I'm going to catch him. Just got to figure out where a sweet spot is. He's locked on, about as locked on as you can get for a largemouth bass on a bed. I don't know how I didn't see him earlier today. Got her. Now we have really caught fish about every way possible today. Caught that one sight fishing on a bed. .81-degree water. Good one too. That is crazy. Come here. In the mouth. Guys, I don't know if I've caught one in Oklahoma in the middle of June on a bed before. Not that I actually saw where she was protecting and threw up there and caught her, but that's a 2-pounder, and that's exactly what that was. Once again, we're just trash fishing shallow. I mean, it's post-spawn and early summer, and we got fish scattered, and I'm refusing to go offshore and making a day of it. So we caught some nice fish today and plan to catch some more.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report. This week brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina, the leader in water sports along the Grand Strand. We get you out. We make sure you live like a local when you're in town. Visit crazysistermarina.com. You can find out about all the things we offer, from going out and seeing the dolphins, jet skis, kayaks, paddle boards. How about all our incredible boats, the fish finder fleet? Make sure you visit us at crazysistermarina.com and book your trip today. Let's talk freshwater. Let's go down to Georgia. Our good buddies at Lake Lanier giving us some great reports down there, in particular on the bass. You know, it's that time of the year, the water's starting to warm up. I think right now that they're 1.7 foot below full pool. but we've got some great action down there. Early in the morning, you can find some topwater action, but a lot of great action on top of those 15 to 30 foot deep brush piles. Get out with a Zara spook, anything to walk the top of the water, attract those fish up. Make sure you pay attention. The other fish that are there possibly will come up. You can get some good multiple bites. If you notice no fish coming up and not getting any bites, move off of that brush pile, go to another one, and come back in about an hour. Also, make sure you drop shot on those same piles later in the day. You can have some good success down on Lake Lanier. Let's move up and let's go to South Carolina and Lake Murray. You know, if you're going to get out and go striper fishing this time of the year on most of our lakes here in South Carolina, it's a great idea to have a boat paddle or a thumper with you. Get that action going on that bottom of the boat. Get those stripers thinking that they're back in that hatchery, and you can bring the school to the boat. It's amazing to watch our good buddy Captain Tommy Bennett and see exactly how he gets those fish up to the boat. But the action is there. Remember, 5 fish, you're done for the day, but there's still some great action on Lake Murray right now. This has been your Carolinas Report. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lose, Feel the Difference, Mamba Boats, Ride with Pride, Strike King, Tie One On, Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades, Fishing Specialties, makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
Wacky rig. You can tell where she's bottom of her lip, where she's been sitting on a bed recently and her tail's worn out. I'm not convinced some of these fish are not spawning. Fry garden, they're still very locked into the spawn. The old wacky worm has been the deal today, no doubt. Another 3.5 pounder. And the spinning tack on light line, that 10-pound test, you just take your time. You'll land most of them. She's got it good. Oh yeah. Come here. Nice fish. Yes, sir. Right on the edge of the reeds. Wacky rig. You can tell where she's bottom of her lip, where she's been sitting on a bed recently and her tail's worn out. Nice fish though, good 3-pounder. Konawa, shallow. It's a great thing, man. I love lakes like this where you can always catch them shallow. And here we are, middle of summer, and some of them are still spawning. It's a great thing. Let her go. Man, what a day. Konawa threw some curveballs for us today, but we stayed shallow, stayed with our game plan, and just kind of mixed it up. Caught them on a lot of different baits, but primarily this afternoon, once the sun got up, it's really been about the wacky worm. I'll go through some of that here in a little bit and show you my setup, but man, what a day. Had some nice fish today for sure.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury. Go boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Plan or book your fishing charter at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS anchor, powered by Passion. Coastline Trailers, built by fishermen for fishermen.
Welcome back, everybody. It is time now for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Joshua asks, what lake gets your vote as best bass lake in America and why? For an answer, we asked 2014 Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Greg Hackney.
You know, honestly, to me, the best bass lake in America is the one we're going to in a week from now, is Santee Cooper in southern South Carolina. And for me personally, I grew up on a body of water fishing cypress trees, and Santee is full of cypress trees. But the cool thing about it is it's like it's got an 8-pounder on every cypress tree in it. So, and not just because I like to fish that way, and it is such a great lake, I just feel like it suits my style of fishing, and I get to fish the way I like to fish.
Thanks so much, Greg. If you have a question that you would like to ask one of our pros, simply go to letsfishtv.com, follow that Ask the Pro link, and submit your own question.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
All right, guys, the setup that I used primarily today that I caught most of my fish on, and especially my better fish and bigger fish, was definitely the wacky rig. Wasn't expecting that to happen today, but that's why I always keep a spinning rod laying on the front deck. For the technique that we were using today, I prefer about a 7-footer. I don't like a really, really long rod, about a 7-foot spinning rod, medium to medium heavy action. I've got 15-pound braid. I use the braid just to allow me to not have all the line twists and stuff. It's a big deal with spinning reels. A lot of guys have been doing it now for the last 10 or 15 years. What we are doing is tying a fluorocarbon leader to it. So we don't have this bright yellow high-vis braid right down on the hook where you're finesse fishing with. This is 10-pound test fluorocarbon leader. I'm using an FG knot. It's a question we get a lot. I'm using an FG knot to tie the two together. If you don't know what that is, you can probably look it up on YouTube. There's about 5,000 videos out there on YouTube on how to tie that knot. Down to this Gamakatsu EWG finesse hook. You can get a close-up on it. I'll show it to you here in a minute. It's got a little wireless plastic weed guard. Kind of just helps me skip it around where you see me skipping up underneath the laydowns and stuff like I was doing today. Just kind of helps that thing not get hung up quite so much. And then I just run the hook right through the egg sac of my little worm. And you can use multiple different styles of worms, whether it be a stick worm like this, a finesse worm. They all tend to work. I like the stick worm a lot. It's got a good weight to it. I like the way that it casts. Other than that, you know, green pumpkin, and I dye the end chartreuse, and I figure if one end's good, then I just dye both. And I've been doing this for years, and it works for me really well all around the country. I just dye both ends. Get double the chartreuse and garlic on it. So, but that's pretty much the setup, guys. It's pretty simple. If you haven't thrown one spinning rod lately, you should give it a try because you can catch some really, really big fish when things are a little bit tough like they were today. And we're still able to catch a really good bag of fish today. So. Thanks for joining us. Hope you guys learned some ways of finding and catching fish here on Lake Konawa. Barry will be back next week. Until next time, join us back on Let's Fish TV.